Welcome to this edition of the Million Dollar Mastermind podcast. This is where we pick the brains of high achievers from all walks of life and get their hard-earned, real-world insights on winning. I'm your host, Larry Weidel. Everybody wants to win, and you should not let anyone make you feel bad about wanting to pursue greatness or to pursue the things that you're fascinated about, because what happens is everybody wants to be respected, have a skill that, people, they want to be good. People want to be good at things. They want to be, go to the top. They want to compete. They want to win. And so if you're in an arena that you cannot compete at, and you've tried it like sports, no matter how you like it, you're going to say, okay, what else is there? What are other options? Or like even on a team, on like soccer, if you try to be or football, you try to be the goalie, and then you're no good at that. And there, you maybe a striker, maybe a defensive player, something like that. But just because you're good at one position doesn't mean you're good at all positions. And it could be that you're not, it could be that you're okay, but you're not no way of becoming great at that. And so you kind of, you stay with it for a while, and then you say, this is not going to pay off for me. So you look for other things. And what you did early on, it was a blessing for you that you were terrible at sports.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because you didn't waste time on it, and you could move on to something where you could be great at it. You could be fascinated and build some respect and skill. And I think that's a hunger from everybody who wants to have a life worth living. You can't have a life worth living and enjoying. What we talk about winning on this thing, Manuj, and some people say, well, that's so selfish, and that's so no. It's a matter of if you're going to have energy in your life, and if you don't have energy in your life, you're not going to be giving back. If you're dead, dull, a dimwit, you're not out there thinking, how can I help mankind? That'll get me cheered up. I'm saying? You're not.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's the energy. If you don't have the energy, you're not going to give out any energy. You're not going to be able to help anybody. So it's the least selfish thing, I believe.
Yeah. And it's the people that are down in the dumps and depressed and everything, usually not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing anything because I think they're a prisoner of ideas that are restricting. You can't do this. You're not good at that. Nobody wants you to that. That'd be dumb to do that. And they wind up not doing anything, where exactly. If you really talk to them, you'd find out there are things they are interested in. If they haven't, let their spirit be totally broken, they can change. I mean, you can see people erupt and become, because they are a different person, because now they're pursuing this, and if you take me and put me in the computer world that you operate in and sit me behind, keyboard, key punch and everything, I'm not going to be real great, but you get me in a boardroom or you get me with a team of people and you give us a project, then I've got a chance to, to make some things happen. So you got to find areas where you're suited for, and because that replenishes your own energy, and that allows you to think about other people. People that are not doing anything are the most self-centered people in the world. It's all me. They just, they're like a baby in the womb. It's just me down here all by myself. And so, the thing about life and about success is that you get to origami out, out into the world and create these ripple things. And what you saw how computers would allow you to identify those processes and set those things in motion in a lot of areas. What were some of the first applications that came to you?
Well, the first one was obviously, like this was back in 1999 when I was done with learning about computers. So the first things were like building accounting systems, reservation systems for hotels. Like internet was not even like when I started. Internet was not even like a thing. So it was like, how do you take a small business and automate things, and those type of things. And then in 1998, 98, I came to Canada, and that was when I started working on the internet. And so the very first thing that I got involved was like an online mall. It was very much like Amazon today. This was 1998 in Vancouver. So, I met a guy. He wanted to build an online mall where anybody can sell and buy things, and he did pretty well actually. Before the dot-com bust happened, he was worth about like $600 million. In 2 3 years, he achieved that. But then dot-com bust happened. He refused to sell out and everything. He went down to, I think he cashed out at like 5 million, 10 million or something. But then those were the applications, and then the next one was about online transactions. So I got very heavy into fintech, financial technology, accepting payments and transacting through like large networks. So those were the initial applications that came to me.
Now, how quick did you get your own business, or were you working for other people when this happened?
So what happened was, like, when dot-com bust happened, then I got I got laid off from that job, and then I joined another company, a startup, a health tech company, and then September 11th happened, and then they lost all the money, so I got laid off from that job. So it happened 2 or 3 times very very quickly in 2 3 years. So I was like, this is messed up. Like, I used to think like there is job security in North America, but there is no such thing. So then I started my consulting company around 2001. It was the same thing that I was doing for other companies, but on my own. Like, I was working with multiple startups now as a consultant, and providing my services to multiple companies. So this happened in 2001.
And now, what before you went on your own, like, what were the biggest roadblocks or the biggest setbacks or the biggest, uh, we all love to talk about the failures because we learn a lot from the failure, but you remember the lessons. I mean, from the successes, we learn a lot because things work, and you say, okay, I'm going to repeat that. But the thing is, the lessons, but a lot of times you can forget those lessons. But the ones you don't seem to forget are the lessons, the real painful lessons from failure, disappointment, things falling on your head, the rug being pulled out, like you getting fired,
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were making a big impact at both of those places, but then all of a sudden the company has issues and you're gone.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you had no control over that,
Yeah.
And I think most of us have been through those situations and didn't like it. But beyond that, what is some of the single most depressing things that you faced early on that caused you to realize, I'm going to have to fight for success, and things are not going to always go smooth?
Yeah. So, first thing was, like, as an immigrant, what I quickly learned was that I need to get assimilated in the culture. I really need to understand people. I really need to understand what kind of, when they laugh at a joke, what does that actually mean? Because I didn't even like get half of the jokes, like what they were saying.
Right.
So building those relationships was like, me getting reborn, and just learning about the culture. Second thing was, I quickly learned that the hard work that people do, it's not what's going to get you rewarded. It's not going to get you recognized, because the credit goes to the person at the top. And how do you even say, hey, I did that? Like, if I was not there, you wouldn't be able to do this or accomplish this. How do you make that impact? How do you get that recognition? So for the longest time, I had to figure out, okay, how do I put my name on the work that I have done, so that even if the vice president says, hey, we did it, like, the name still sticks. Hey, this guy did it. So I had to learn to market myself and toot my own horn in a way that doesn't come across as, hey, you're so always talking about yourself, but still letting people know that, hey, I'm the guy behind the scenes. And then the last thing was, uh, I never got satisfaction by working on like fintech, which just makes money for a handful of people, or a shopping mall where rich people are transacting with each other. That's when I learned, what you just said. Like, let's work on problems that is a problem for everyone. So that's when I said, okay, let's look at education, let's look at healthcare, let's look at these kind of projects where technology is being still not used as much. But then, even if I don't get the recognition, I'll have the satisfaction that, hey, look, I built this hospital system and it has served 1 million patients now. And even if I don't get the recognition, I will know in my heart that, I helped these people, and that will be good enough for me, right?
What were up to date, right off the top of your head? What are some of the most satisfying, biggest impact things you've been able to do so far?
Yeah, so we built a system. I was the chief architect there for Pearson Education, which is a Fortune 500 company, and that system has served over. At that time, this was 2011, 5 million students across the world, and it had generated more than $1 billion in revenue, almost 400 million a year. And then I built a system for the government of British Columbia here in the province, 5 million residents here. So we built the system to digitize healthcare, and that system, British Columbia was the very first one to do it. And then the same system and technology was adopted Canada wide, and then they took it to New Zealand and some other countries. So all those things that I have done, just in those two projects, it impacted more than 10 million lives. But then I've done so much more, like millions and millions of other people have been using the system that I've built. But those were the biggest two that I can mention.
When you build a system, what does that mean? I mean,
It's
what does that mean?
So it's what you just said, right? You look at the situation today. What is it that, okay? What, everything is paper based in those days. Okay, when a patient comes in, what kind of form are they filling in? Who are they talking to? What kind of errors are they entering? What happens if the form is not available? What happens if the information is not available? Once the form goes to the hospital system, who looks at it? What does the doctor do with it? What is the diagnosis process? How does he refer? What does the doctor do to refer to a lab technician? What does the lab technician do to send the results back? It's a whole bunch of stuff that happens before you know, oh, you got some problem, right? So
Right.
if you can take out all these steps and say, okay, let's digitize this, let's send this message automatically. When the patient comes in, a message goes out to the hospital system, doctor is notified, lab technician knows, and then the results come back to the same doctor. And then even if the person is out of state, out of province, you can send the same result back to another doctor in another province. All that works seamlessly now. So now, as a patient, you feel like, oh, it's so much easier than it used to be, right?
Yeah. And so, what are your big projects you're working on right now?
So now it's all about AI. Just like in late '90s, the internet came along, and a lot of people said, this internet thing is not for me. That is exactly what is happening with AI. A lot of people don't understand what it means to them, to their business, to their family, and people who do not embrace it in the next few years, they are going to be left behind like there is no tomorrow. So I am working on helping people embrace AI, use AI in their business, in their life, to get ahead and just ride this wave. This is going to be the biggest wave of wealth creation or wealth movement because of AI, and that's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years. That's my big focus.
So let's just say you're a small business person and you're hearing this and you're saying, I need to get some more input on this. I need some more thinking. How would you go about getting your business analyzed from how AI could impact it and, outline the steps to
Yeah,
bring it in?
absolutely. So
Because the thing is like this, Manoj, here's the thing. You don't know what you don't know.
exactly.
And right now, when you don't know AI, you don't know AI. And so you have no idea how you're missing the boat
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like I said, but you can still feel like I missed the boat. I'm missing the boat again. But somebody help me not miss the boat. I don't know how to, and so that's what I'm saying. It's like,
So the
and if not today, when I get to a little bit bigger or next year or something, or start to move into it.
No, you don't have to be any size. I can trust me when I tell you, like a single person, a single solopreneur can use it. But the key question is, what is my biggest headache today? Start with that. What is my biggest headache today? Is it sales? Is it marketing? Is it operations? Is it hiring people? Is it getting out there? Whatever that biggest headache is, then you start to break down that headache into smaller pieces. So let's say I was talking to a design construction design company. They have 90 people right now. Their biggest headache is how to find more people, how to find qualified people. So they have been using this traditional route, sending job postings, getting a whole bunch of resumes, going through it. So with AI, you can post the job and you can actually automate the process of reviewing the resumes in such a way that it shortlists almost 5-10% of the total resumes, which almost exactly match your company, your values, your mindset. And then you only talk to those 5 to 10% of the people. Imagine the time and the resources and the money you will save if I come into your company and say, okay, 95% of your HR process is gone now. It can be automated, right?
Right.
So yeah, go ahead.
But if, like, let's say in marketing, there's a certain target market, a certain kind of thing. You want to let people know your service is available, and you don't want to just hire a salesperson to do it. But, if it's something that can go globally, you want to contact people and all over. So how do you go about that?
Exactly.
How do you do that?
So 3 years ago, I was anonymous engineer. Nobody knew me. I was a consultant. And I'm talking to you 3 years later, with all this credibility that you mentioned, right?
Right.
It happened with AI. I used AI to put my name out there. And today, the technology is so advanced. What I did in 3 years, I can do it for people in 3 months to 6 months. So the idea is that AI can help you get the message out there. Most of the marketing gets stuck by figuring out what is the right message, how once you find the right message, how to target the right people, how to scale that targeting, how to scale that messaging. With AI, you can go full speed ahead, find the right message within a week, and then replicate that message like it's like 1,000 people are shouting from the top of Mount Everest about your name, about your services. That's where we are at today.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for listening to the Million Dollar Mastermind. If you felt there were any valuable takeaways from this episode, please take a minute and leave us a 5-star review. Your feedback is important and really helps us get the word out to a wider audience. Remember, we have a valuable webinar that is absolutely free. Register for it right now at weidelonwinning.com. Thanks for listening.